Inside an office lease renewal negotiation, what your landlord doesn't want you to know. If you are watching this video, maybe you are a commercial office, retail, or industrial tenant who is looking for workspace options, and maybe you have a pending lease renewal on the horizon where you are considering relocating or buying a property. In this video, I'm going to provide you with some guidance and basic understanding of an office renewal negotiation, give some insight on making commercial real estate decisions for your business, and most importantly, save money in commercial real estate transactions. If the content of this video is of interest to you and you'd like to learn more about commercial real estate leasing and sales from a tenant rep broker's point of view, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Hey, my name is Nick Zager from Mirlo Real Estate Partners, and this video outlines the most common transaction in commercial real estate is the lease renewal. This is also the landlord's favorite type of deal because it's where they make the most money. Landlords love renewals because they know the odds are great that the tenant is going to renew its lease. Relocating takes time and effort, and tenants generally don't shop around unless there is a major problem with the space. Maybe it's too big or too small, the rent is too high, the layout no longer works, or it's inefficient, and the landlord knows this. Landlords make their most of their profit through renewals. As I'll explain later, it's not cheap to relet the space. This is somewhat simplifying things, but in my time working as a landlord's agent, when it was time to renew a tenant, we typically used the following strategy. We draw up a simple one-page amendment that was really easy for a tenant to sign. Something written so plain they wouldn't even need to pay a lawyer to review it. For those of you who are watching this video who have a modified gross lease and are paying your pro rata share of operating expenses or triple net expenses over a base year and have a lease amendment like I described sitting on your desk waiting for you to sign, don't sign it. Please wait till the end of this video for a tip on how to save thousands to tens of thousands of dollars on your lease renewal. We were talking about a one-page lease renewal document that simply amends the rent table, higher rent of course, from the main lease, and extends the term several years into the future. More often than not, a tenant would just sign it. Sometimes the tenant would push back, ask for lower rent, or even request money to fix issues within the suite. And this is my favorite part, when the landlord's rep goes silent or makes an audible noise like, "Oof, you just punched him in the gut. I offered you a fair deal, and now you want more?" And so, after some saber rattling, the landlord would typically hold firm or provide some small concessions to placate the tenant, and the deal would be signed. In these situations, the landlord always wins. You see, the professional landlord has budgeted for the tenant's renewal the prior year. They know the terms they want and the concessions they are willing to give, and they know the condition of the space and what it needs to compete with the market. So the landlord is really just trying to beat their own projections. And when they do this consistently, they're doing really good. But unfortunately, that's at the expense of their business partner, their tenant. You see, tenants don't seem to understand the leverage they have in these negotiations. Imagine if you left the space you occupy. Even in the best case situation for the landlord, they are losing out on significant money through lost rent. It could take 6, 9, 12 months or longer to relet the suite. And on top of that, a new tenant will require significant modifications to the suite. And that means more tenant improvement money out the window. Plus, leases typically don't start until construction is finished. And then there's free rent and a broker fee on top of that. So what we're talking about amounts to serious money if a tenant vacates, like hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially. So what's pretty crazy is that the stakes are really high if a tenant leaves its space, but still the landlord ends up winning these negotiations. What this example shows is that if the landlord could lose this much, it makes sense for tenants to reevaluate their situation each time their lease comes due. They should take it seriously and understand the market, or they'll keep leaving money on the table. To put this in basic terms, if your workspace is 10,000 square feet and you can negotiate even $1 lower per square foot, over 10 years, you've saved your business $100,000. Furthermore, some tenants are with a landlord for a significant amount of time, like 5, 10, sometimes even 20 years. Then why is it that the new tenant to the building always gets the better overall terms? Landlords really aren't bad guys. Remember, it's their job to get the best terms, and you can't really blame them. You'd do it too. For example, if Joe offered you $400,000 for your house and Cindy offers you $500,000, whose offer do you choose? But a tenant shouldn't get taken advantage of. A renewal is an opportunity, and even if a tenant reaffirms the relationship with their landlord, they still deserve a fair market deal. And the best way to do this is hiring a broker that specializes in tenant representation, who can help you evaluate the market, create a strong strategy to execute your transaction at a high level. Also, earlier in the video, I called out a renewal scenario that could be beneficial and save a tenant thousands to tens of thousands of dollars on their transaction. And this trick works whether you are using a broker or not. If you have a modified gross lease or a base year lease, or a lease with real estate tax and CAM pass-throughs over a base year, please focus now. These types of rent increases are in addition to your base rent and are typically called additional rent. Landlords use mechanisms like this so that the rent adjusts annually for the cost of living. If the landlord's costs to operate the building go up, so do your costs as a tenant. Typically, when you move into a building, you don't pay any additional rent on your first year. This is your base year. Each year, as expenses fluctuate, you pay your pro rata share of the increase over what the expenses were in your base year. Another way to look at this is if you occupy 25% of a building and the expenses were $100,000 in your base year, but in year 2, the expenses are $120,000, you will reimburse the landlord for 25% of the $20,000 increase from year 2 from your base year, or $5,000. So if you have a lease structured like this and it is renewal time, you are likely paying several dollars per square foot in additional rent. Keep in mind that a landlord won't bring this up when it's time to renegotiate the lease, especially if they just give you a one-page document to sign. So if this video just taught you one thing, don't forget to reset the base year to the current calendar year or the calendar year when the extension term begins. A new base year will start you back at zero, saving you real money. Commercial real estate is incredibly complex, and if you aren't an insider, good information can be difficult to come by. In my business, I am always learning and growing, and I strive diligently to serve my clients and provide them with the best tools to make the right decisions for their real estate. So if you have any specific questions or comments about anything I've said, feel free to contact me directly by email or phone, or leave a comment below. If you found value or liked the video and would like more information about how to properly navigate the commercial real estate world, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And for more great content, check out these other videos over here. Again, I'm Nick Zager from Mirlo Real Estate Partners, and I can't wait to connect with you again soon.